There we go. Not sure what happened here, but we'll take you down to the track for qualifying. As you can see, we have John Cutlip here laying down their first lap. Definitely some connections issue on his end, but he is on the front row for now with a minute 17. Riding along with Connor Rowe as he's finishing up his second lap. Jeremy Beal taking his second lap. I'll bring you up the track map so you can get a little idea of where the driver is on the track. All right, so it looks like Elliott Drummond on the front row with a minute 15, with Talon Smith with a minute 16. Let's see if Elliott Drummond can improve on that. In the Miller Lite 29. Thank you for bearing with me as I'm getting things up and ready to go. Got C-Law in the chat here tonight. Big shout out to J2L for the follow about 40 minutes ago before the race. We do appreciate that. Thank you for checking out the Gears Cup Series. And I will apologize in advance. There is a storm heading in my direction tonight, which could possibly make things a little bit difficult for the stream. So if you're hanging out, I do apologize. If you get any stutters, I will try to get through it as best as I possibly can. I guess that would be a perfect segue if it were a segue to anything. Tonight, as our special guest, we have a guy who has been in the Gears Cup Series for quite a long time. Give me just one moment as I make sure everything works on my end. All right, the points leader going into the playoffs so far still. Mike DeWalt joining us here tonight. Going to do a lap and park it. Mike, can we get a copy? 10-4. 10-4 it is. All right, so you're going to have me and special guest Mike DeWalt here tonight, chumming it up here. Going to have some beverages. My wife took off with my shot glass. That is not good at all. Guess she left me the bottle. I guess that's the good thing. Looking at Drew Webb coming around the final turn. Right? Yeah, the 31 Ford Mustang looks beautiful. Again, putting up the track map so you can see where your favorite driver is on the track. We will have that up all night for you, just so you can kind of be aware. Again, there's going to be no cautions called for at stage points tonight, which is good. There is possibility of a full course yellow if the accident is bad enough. But hopefully we'll get through these 55 laps somewhat pain-free. Sure, sure. Yeah, and we'll be with you here in a little bit while you go to grid. Thank you for joining us for the moment. And yeah, let's get around safely. All right, again, as you can see, it's going to be 55 laps of awesome action here tonight. I'm just off. All right, here we go. So stage 1 is going to be the completion at lap 15. Stage 2 will be a completion of lap 25 each. Each driver will have 1 fast repair, 5 tire sets, and 50% fuel capacity as always. Weather is auto-generated. The race time is at noon, and the fixed setup is Sonoma. $23 mark to be here tonight. I do believe we have nearly that much as we are getting set to go to grid. See Kyle Munson out there doing some donuts around pit lane. It's going to be a great evening. I can feel it. Again, a lot on the line here, especially for Keaton Sawyers and Aiden Lunn. Aiden Lunn, young guy in the sport, but definitely a guy who's shown up and have put in the time to finish races. And he's been more about being to finish the race than he is about winning the race. But he has put himself in a great position to get into the chase. Keaton Sawyers, on the other hand, was last year's 2022 champion. So being in the playoffs is kind of a given for him, or he would like to be, as he's considered one of the better drivers in our group. So again, storyline to watch out here tonight. Both drivers are kind of mid to the end of the pack as far as time. So that is a little race within the race to watch. Tonight's pick, I'm going to go with my man right here, number 29, Elliott Drummond, a guy who has told me earlier in the week to trust that he's going to walk away tonight the winner. And he's all but assured me of that. So I'm going to pick him as my pick to win as the number 29 Miller Lite Ford Mustang. Again, warm-up almost complete. Take a look here at Tyler Curley in the 91 machine. Brandon Meyer in the 33 Red Bull. We are just about ready to go green flag racing shortly. Take a quick break as we get ready for the Coors Banquet 100 here on the Gears Cup Series. back here with you tonight. Again, for some reason, iRacing is having a little bit of an issue. But let's take a look at the grid, shall we? Elliott Drummond and Talon Smith on the front row. Jonathan Cutlip and Connor Rowe in row 2. Sean Anderson and Brandon Meyer, row 3. Brandon Smith and Jeremy Beal, row 4. Trey Holmes and Kyle Munson, row 5, with Matthew Weeks and Tyler Curry in row 6. Mike DeWalt, Matt Albert, row 7. Cody Johnson and Keaton Sawyers, row 8. Perrin Huggins and Lucas Reed, row 9. Gatlin Downey and Aiden Lund, row 10. And row 11 is Robert Fitzpatrick Sr. and Drew Webb. And here we go for Green Flag Racing. Elliott Drummond will lead us down for the Coors Banquet 100.
Green flag, green flag.
Let us go racing here into the night at Sonoma, California. Up the hill they go. Drummond and Smith with Cutlip right there as well. Let's get a blimp shot of everybody. Oh, we already got trouble ahead and between Connor. Or looks like Talon Smith and Brandon. We will see. And that is unfortunate. Cars already off the track early. Not looking good so far. For whatever reason, iRacing is not treating us well with road courses this season. You see on the track here, everybody is. Get you at least a little bit of idea what we're looking at. Let's see here, battle between Trey Holmes, Brandon Miles, Sean Anderson, John Cutlip, Matthew Weeks right there, Kyle Munson, Cody Johnson, all battling here for top 10 spots. Again, first stage of completion looks like we'll be at lap 15. And I do apologize about that flickering if you can see it at home. 61 better win, or I will lose my shit. See where your boy is right now. He is in 14th place. Currently riding along, just taking her easy here. So far, so good. Tyler Curley moving up into third already, working fast. This is a 91 Chevrolet. Brandon Smith in the 56 M&M's car in fourth right now. Trying to keep Brandon Meyer away from him. Smith again, fourth place guy here. Distance between third and fourth is about 5 seconds. Look back here. Here's where the main action is so far. And it looks like Mike DeWalt has parked and is back in the booth with us. Mike, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, great to be back up here.
Yeah, first or second and third place right on that start there. They were having trouble and got into each other. Glad you were able to get out of that alive.
Yeah, it's quite slick out there. So I'm not surprised some of these cars are sliding around.
I don't know if you've seen it on the chat on Twitch, but J. Cole writes in the 61 better win or I will lose my shit.
it's definitely no surprise this 29 car is out there with a pretty good gap.
Yeah, he has put 7 seconds on him and Connor Rowe. And then between Connor Rowe and Curley is less than a second. And then from third to fourth is about a 6-second difference with John Cupliff trying to make up some ground. Again, track map is on the screen for you at home to see where your favorite driver is while my broadcast is trash with iRacing here. I shouldn't say it's my broadcast, it's iRacing that's flickering on and off here.
Looks like the 61, Matt Albert, with an unscheduled pit stop here.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the end of his night or not. He's out, but there's a lot of action all over the track. I'm going to keep it here on the blip cam for a moment. You see Weeks, Smith, Meyer, Holmes, Munson, Sean Anderson, and Jeremy Beal all battling for position here. With the highest here being Brandon Smith up in the 6th, with Matthew Weeks turning and burning, moving his way up into the top 5, 8 spots from the start. But the biggest mover of the day so far is that 91 of Tyler Curley, closing in on Connor Rowe.
Yeah, Tyler is definitely a wheel man. Not surprised that he's up here battling for a podium.
Heard Curley's got a new book out next year called My Life Story. Coming out January 1st, 2024. All kidding aside, though, he is a very talented driver. And he puts a lot into this corner. So Ford, Chevy, Ford, Toyota in your top 5. Elliott Drummond, Connor Rowe, Tyler Curley, John Cupliff, Matthew Weeks, Brandon Smith, Brandon Meyer, Trey Holmes, Cody Johnson, and Kyle Munson in your top 10. Let's take a look at this group, and we've been watching them a little bit. Oh, Sean Anderson meets Jesus. No, he doesn't. He doesn't hit the wall, I don't believe. He is backing it up and getting it on, but let's back up here just a second and see what happened. We're just going to stay with it for his point of view. Says, sweet baby Jesus, there's the wall. And he stops just a light little tap, if anything else, for Mr. Anderson. But he is back up and moving, so we'll keep moving as well. Beal and Munson now battling for 8th place, trying to track down Brandon Smith, who's been falling. Cody Johnson up 10 spots from, looks like he started 21st. He is up to 11th. I think a lot of people right away realizing they don't have the stuff for Sonoma.
Tyler Curley making a move on the 5 car for 2nd place.
Thank you for that, because I was going to mention something else a lot more boring. But here's a battle for 2nd place here between Connor Rowe and Tyler Curley.
I think he's going to be able to get him in turn 11 here once they get down. Oh, he let him have it. 5 car realizes that 91 is faster. Smart move. Let him go.
Nice. Connor Rowe being smart about it, knowing that there's a lot more race left to be had. Again, stage 1 is at lap 15. Thank you, J. Cole, for the follow 7 minutes ago. I thought you followed me before, though. The hell is your problem?
Must unfollow at some point.
What a loser. Again, after the race, as always, we are going to have a recruitment race. Who knows how inebriated Mike and I will be, but we will be there regardless. Hopefully you have some beverages and come join us here tonight.
The field is certainly spread out.
Definitely is.
Only been 6 laps.
I was just about to mention that iRacing has gotten better, but then it starts to go like it has having an epileptic seizure. Hopefully you boys like techno at home. Eyes now on the 12th place car of Drew Webb. Drew Webb, Columbus, Ohio native. And that 31 Aflac Ford Mustang. Mike, since we got you here, might as well ask you a couple of questions, as we have a long night ahead of us.
Fire away.
With this season coming to an end as far as the regular season, what has impressed you the most from last season to this season?
I would say just the racecraft and the competitiveness. I mean, last season was fun. We were on Heat 5 on console, which is a little bit different than this.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
You know, we still didn't have as much competition and racecraft as we do now, especially with iRacing, and that just comes with the platform change, obviously. There's a lot more realism that goes into this game than Heat 5. Oh, it looks like Aiden Lund into the wall a little bit. Looks like he's still going. But to answer your question, I think just the amount of competition and the amount of time and the amount of the field. I mean, the field's changed from 16 cars now to about double that, about 32, max 40. So just the amount of people, and you know, a top 10 actually means something now. So just competition-wise has changed the most, and it's a really good group of guys that we have here, and we really have a lot of momentum going this year with the amount of people we have in the league, people that show up and want to do this seriously. So really excited about the league where we're headed.
A not so serious segment here. Looking at Aiden Lund's car, looks like he bought the Ford Mustang off of Craigslist. It's missing pieces in the front, and it has no rear bumper anymore. So hopefully that fuel cell is safe. But he is battling this man that's right in front of him in 15th. Again, this is a back-of-the-pack type of race, or for a type of run for these guys. They're not going to be race winners or contending for the win, but points are important the rest of the way here. Again, Aiden Lund holding that final spot down. But Keaton Sawyers, our last year's champion, is hungry. Ever since he's come back, he has not. I don't think he's missed a race, and if he has, it's probably been like only one. But other than that, he has been here consistently every week. He has risen in the point standings, and he is right on the cusp of a playoff spot, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been pretty impressive. Come in here, have a couple months of experience with iRacing, and really be able to run straight because it's not easy doing this.
No.
So really impressed with that. I mean, he's the defending champion of Heat 5 last year. So Keaton Sawyers, pretty impressive as he transitions to iRacing.
Again, back up here with a 15-second gap on the field is Elliott Drummond. Looks like Curly is trying. It's just nobody's got anything for Elliott. So basically, right now, it's Elliott Drummond's race to lose.
Yeah, I mean, ever since Curly took second place, he's lost about 3 or 4 seconds on the leader. So
yeah,
how fast and how dialed in that 29 car is tonight.
Yeah, like he's just the way that he approaches the turns. It just seems like it's effortless for him. Talking with him on Discord a little bit in DMs, he explains just how he handles each turn. He doesn't overdrive anything. It doesn't seem like. It's smooth as fast here, apparently.
Yeah, it's one of those tracks where you really feel like it's slow, but that's the way you're supposed to drive. And the biggest mistake people make is just thinking they need to overdrive. And the ironic part is that makes it slower. So
sure.
Very difficult track, especially with big cars, and he's making it look easy.
Yeah, he is, definitely. J. Cole writes, looks like, Mike, I'm going to miss riding your bumper tonight. And he also says that moment when they make left and right turns, also Mike gets faster. The best part about this season is the return of J. Cole.
You know, I wouldn't say that's the best part of it. Welcoming part. It was a pleasure to see him back, no doubt. It was definitely unexpected, but hopefully a highlight. I'll give it a highlight.
Yeah. EWB37 says, Horseboat lagging so bad. Yeah. Tell that to Jesus Christ. I can't do anything about it here this evening, but we're doing our best. to hang in there. If you feel like you're going into an epileptic seizure, please stop watching. Or leave it up and go do what you need to do.
Shout out to everyone that showed up tonight. There's a lot of guys here that are not naturally road course ringers, if you will.
Yeah.
I commend them on taking on the challenge at Sonoma in the next year. This is not an easy thing to do.
Not at all. To see John Cutlip and Connor Rowe going at it for third place. Yeah, I'm sorry, EWB. He says, still doing a great job, my friend. And yeah, we're powering through it. So again, if it sucks for you, I do apologize. It is the weather in my area. I live on a farm, so I live in the middle of frickin' nowhere with an internet company that really puts the Ethernet cable in my ass. So keep it here for the battle for third, if iRacing will let us.
A Cutlip closing in on Connor Rowe. Oh, looks like he lost a little bit of time right there, but he seems to be the faster car at this point.
Well, let's give it up here as we enter through, almost done with stage one. It's Elliott Drummond's Race to Lose. Let's do our first Loose and Loud segment here this evening and give you a chance to at least hear what's going on the track. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out for that Loose and Loud segment. Again, as J. Cole, as I pinned to my chat, he says this lagging race is better than my top 10 percentage. God bless you.
Accurate.
Accurate indeed. 21 seconds. Elliott Drummond has on the rest of the field. At least the second place for Mr. Tyler Curley is. Looks like John Cutlip in third, trying to close the gap between third and second. But as we've talked about here, Mike off the mic. No, whatever I was trying to make there. Really not a very eventful race here so far.
No, I didn't expect very eventful, especially as we string them out and we don't have any stage caution breaks.
Yeah.
But that's how it's, in my opinion, that's kind of how it's supposed to be on these road courses. You don't want to stop the field for no reason. So it kind of turns into this, but I figured we'd have a little bit more competition, especially for the race lead. I didn't expect Drummond to pull out to a 20-second lead like this. We have some talented road racers in here, so I'm kind of surprised by that.
Yeah, they have really shown up here tonight. I mean, Tyler Curley, a guy who we've gotten to know a little bit over the last couple of weeks. This guy really pulls out all the stops. He's still trying his best. He's driving in hard, trying to track down Elliott, but Elliott just keeps adding seconds. And it looks like Matt Albert's back out on the track.
Yeah, I wonder if he damaged his car enough where he had to go park it for a while.
That could definitely be the case. Yeah. Again, 18 of 55 laps complete. Next stage is going to be at the conclusion of lap 25.
We are in it for the long haul.
Excuse me, 45. 45. 45. Let me make that clear. 45 laps. Completion of lap 45. We are in it for the long haul, Mike, and I guess that leads into another question. With these new batch of drivers that have come over in the last month and a half or so, who would you say would be the best out of that group that has just joined us previously?
Oh, man. That's tough. Because there's a handful of drivers that are kind of in that conversation. I don't really know, as it's such a small sample size, the 3 races that they started racing with us on. But I mean, Ethan Burrell certainly comes to mind. He was last week's winner, and he's won stages and really run up front in all 3 races that he's been in. But Elliott Drummond, who is leading this race and dominating, has really been fast too, and he's been right there at the end for some of these wins. He just couldn't pull it out. But those 2 in particular are very fast and are really good. Matthew Weeks is also in that conversation. He's already won, and he's always fast. He's up there in the top 5 right now. Jonathan Cutlip has won. He seems fast. Those are kind of the main nucleus of guys that have really taken the league by storm, and I look forward to racing with them.
They really have. You know, by storm is probably the best way you can describe it, because they just have made such a big splash. It looks like Elliott Drummond is pitting now. See if he hits pit lane. All right, we'll follow him around since he's our leader and we have some time. He's out in pit stall number 1.
Brendan Meyer also in that 33 car.
All right. And it's such a long drive down pit road, Mike, as we're taking a look here at the end of pit lane, watching Drummond slowly creep to the first box. And he gets there, and his imaginary pit crew is going to go to work.
Tyler Curley followed him in. It was a little while until he got to the pit lane, but he followed him in on the same lap.
Okay, that is a good play. Looks like Cutlip is going to be the new leader, and we'll follow him around here right now. Guy also a recent newbie from Fairfax, Virginia. Won a race here a few weeks ago.
And Elliott Drummond had such a big lead. He is only 8.5 seconds back of 28 after pitting himself.
Cutlip winning the Marlboro 150 at New Hampshire. And then, like you mentioned before, Ethan Burrell getting that win last week at Pocono. Can finally get that monkey off his back and able to get in after a month of just being up there and competing. Again, John Cutlip is your leader. Elliott Drummond in second, Tyler Curley third, Connor Rowe in fourth, and Cody Johnson in that 08 in fifth.
Sorry about that, Tom. A lot of guys peeling off and coming to pit road on that lap.
Oh, all right. That is good to know, as I was not paying attention. I hope this lag isn't pissing you off as much as it is me, but it's definitely irritating. Looks like Sawyers has yet to pit. Salyers, whatever. Keaton likes it that I call it Sawyers because it sounds like Sawyers. I don't hear it. Taking a look now at the 14 of the Tire Pros Ford Mustang of Sean Anderson. Second in the points. Riding just at the edge of the top 10, or in the top 10 at the moment in 10th.
And Cutlip exiting pit road. He's the new second place car.
There you go. Did you say he was texting on pit road?
Exiting pit road.
Oh, I was like, dude, how do you know he's texting out of pit road?
Maybe texting. This race is pretty boring, so I wouldn't doubt it.
Driving with his knee through turn 1 and 2 up the hill. Cutlip. So it's Drummond, Cutlip, Curley, Rowe, and Johnson, who's in the pits right now. Brandon Smith has passed him now for 5th. Again, first round of pit stops coming to a close. Again, if you're hanging out with us, hopefully the stream will be better next week as we go to Legacy Texas for the Boot Barn 150. That is going to be Boot Barn 250, excuse me. That'll be next week. Again, Legacy Texas, not the newly repaved Trash Texas. I should say newly repaved because it hasn't been paved in years. But it's just trash, so we call Legacy Texas our home.
Also called Tex Ass.
Tex Ass, absolutely.
Lucas Reed off course.
Oh, let's take a look.
Turn 2.
Oh, he might be texting and driving. His Crafted Tools tell you.
Got his knees up on the wheel there.
That's right.
Ray Holmes passing the 56 for 5th place, and here comes the 56 to pit road.
I'm trying to show people on the camera, but it's stuttering like a nightclub at 3 in the morning. Yep, Brandon Smith on pit road as Elliott Drummond casually drives by and puts a lap on him.
56 went about 21 laps before pitting, so he stretched it out.
That's a good stretch, yeah, I was going to say. Again, after this race, we're going to have a recruitment race. I have no idea how the hell that's going to work out.
91 almost turned the 33 into turn 11 there. An accident. Good.
You know, I'm just throwing this out here. It's too bad iRacing doesn't have... Oh, Sean Anderson. Oh, whoa. He has spun out in the same spot he spun out before. Let's take a replay and see if he met Jesus this time.
Yeah, he's still slow.
Yeah, he's still getting up. Okay, he gets off the turn. Oh, wow. Yeah, car just gets away from him. And he just taps the wall, so he's going to be okay. Sean, I've got a like huge props to Sean Anderson. Like he's a guy that's shown up every single week, and a guy he's quietly stayed in second all year long. He's been rivaled to you, but quietly. Like you don't really hear from him that much, do you, Mike?
I don't, and he's typically an under the radar kind of driver, who usually some of his good finishes are just a product of his strategy, especially with fuel strategy. So he's always thinking about getting to the end. A very patient driver, someone who doesn't cause trouble, very smart driver. And when he's at a track he likes, he's going to be up there fighting for the win. So not surprising he's number 2 in points. He's been someone I enjoy racing.
And Mike, you're going to have to call me a liar here because I said 45. It is lap 25.
Yeah, you know, sometimes you're wrong. It's just kind of how it works. Not all of us are perfect.
I know, man. I know. Nothing like that Matt Albert guy. Not a fault to him.
Yeah, and speaking of perfect, Elliott Drummond is about to lap 5th place.
Wow, if he laps the whole field tonight, I don't know. Maybe I'll throw up on the stream. I don't know. We'll see.
There goes
Trey Holmes.
9. Oh, he did hard off turn 10.
Grinding like a fat chick at a hot club.
I don't know if he's going to make it. He's going to come into pit road right behind him.
Oh, that was Matthew Weeks. Let's back this up.
Matthew Weeks, nowhere to go as he's clogging the pit lane.
Let's see. Trey Holmes just like a Starbucks barista taking his sweet-ass time. And a fender bender to Matthew Weeks. That would piss me off. Those guys are friends, so hopefully they'll be able to figure that one out in time. But not cool. Not cool at all. Drummond, 21-second lead on 2nd place. Cutlip, 10-second lead on 3rd place. And then Curley has a 12-second lead on 4th place.
Oh, and more issues for the 14 car. Not sure what happened, but he was slow. Maybe he has some damage, I'm not sure.
He might have some damage. Give him his AARP card because he is slow as hell right now. Gets off the corner good there against Jeremy Beal. Jeremy Beal on the lead lap. Sean Anderson is not.
Cody Johnson off track a little bit. He's back going. Lost a lot of time there in 7th place. Here comes Brandon Smith right behind him. I'm not sure if people are changing tires throughout this race. You don't really need to. The tires do not wear at this road course. So not a whole lot of time saving in the pits because you have to fill it up with fuel all the way. But I honestly would prefer old tires. Just because of how loose it gets on new tires on the first lap. So,
C-Law says crazy, only 7 cars on the lead lap. And then J. Cole says Matt Albert never fails. He never fails. You heard it first here, fellas, ladies and gentlemen.
And Elliott Drummond is not slowing down. He just ran his fastest lap of the race that lap.
Somebody paid the iRacing gods a lot of money, or he's very good at this track. I would take the latter at this time, as he is racing out of his mind with a 22-second lead on this guy right here, John Cutlip. Again, wish we had more of a race to report, but we simply do not. But we're having fun hanging out. You guys out in the chat, let's take a vote on who's going to get 2nd place. Instead of voting on the winner tonight, we'll vote on who's going to get in 2nd place tonight. My pick is going to be Tyler Curley, but even though he's like a cat with 9 lives, he's about out of them. Mike, who would you have to pick if you could pick somebody?
I mean, I'm really liking that 28 car. And as Drummond runs his fastest lap again that lap. Cutlip is getting overshadowed, obviously, by 29, but Cutlip is running just a couple tenths slower than Elliott, so he's got a fast car, and he's doing a good job tonight. I think he's going to finish 2nd.
In the chat, if anybody has anything to say that's not driving a car, please feel free to put in your pick for 2nd place. J. Cole says Mr. DeWalt is going to come out of nowhere for 2nd place.
I'll just give myself a few wave rounds.
Right. Pull the full course caution. Hey, is there a red flag command in iRacing?
I don't think so.
Damn. I haven't said this enough, but you were watching the Coors Banquet 100 by the Gears Cup Series on Casa de la Horse mode on Twitch.tv.
You know, somebody that's having an under-the-radar good night tonight is that 47 car, Jeremy Beal.
Yeah.
Off the lead lap, but he is in the top 5 currently.
holding down that 5th place. And I forgot to put up stage 2 winner, but you guessed it, Elliott Drummond has won stage 2. And if he didn't, you can call me a liar post-stream.
Trey Holmes, looks like he disconnected a couple laps ago, so he is out of the race. He must have had really big damage there.
That is unfortunate. Looks like C-Law agrees with you. He thinks cut lip, number 28. All right, so stage 1 and 2 in the books. Heading to that final stage. About 28 laps remain. And that is going to be a perfect segue into our second loose and loud segment of the evening. Hit it up in the chat. Let's talk it up here for a moment as we bring you all the sights and sounds of Sonoma Raceway in Sonoma, California. All right, as you saw some sweet, hot action with a couple people getting loose. We were just talking about Aiden Lund and Keaton Sawyers and how that is a huge battle between the two drivers here. As we'll take a look at both of them. As we went into the Loose and Loud segment, Aiden Lund was up on Keaton. Now that has been reversed as Aiden Lund spun out. Sean Anderson has taken his last accident and taken it to the garage. He is probably going to go have a nice beverage this evening. But again, thank you for joining along for the Coors Banquet 100 at Sonoma Raceway. Stream has not been up to snuff tonight, but we are getting through it. Bringing back in Mike DeWalt. Mike, you were noticing something about Jonathan Cutlip.
Yeah, Jonathan Cutlip just ran the fastest lap of the race just a few laps ago, and he's not exactly cutting into the lead that Elliott had, but it's not going anywhere, which doesn't mean a whole lot right now. It's still 21 seconds, but, I mean, if there's one guy that can stay with Drummond on lap time, he's the only guy that can do it.
Yeah, it seems like he is the only formidable person. As the gap from second to third, I'll let you know, is 22 seconds. So between first through third, you have about a minute, which is about 2/3, maybe a little bit more generous, of a lap between the three drivers. Again, only 4 cars on the lead lap right now, and that is really saying a lot. C-Law puts rip for New Atlanta. Rest in piss. So Elliott Drummond, John Cutlip, Tyler Curley, Connor Rowe, and Jeremy Beal, your top 5 with Matthew Weeks, Cody Johnson, Brandon Meyer, Brandon Smith, and Drew Webb rounding out your top 10. Name we haven't mentioned back here at the carousel.
Oh,
Beal! Yeah, I seen that! Oh, what a close call. Oh, and that was for position. Matthew Weeks passed Jeremy Beal for 5th. He is now in the top 5. Well, let's look at that one more time. Let's back that ass up and see what happened from his point of view.
He got super lucky he didn't get into any cars out there in turn 11.
He went to hit the brakes behind Keaton and just locked him up. And he is lucky he didn't hit that tire barrier in the center of that carousel turn.
Yeah, he definitely got away with one right there.
Good Lord. As we're riding along now with our driver that is leading the race currently, Elliott Drummond, with 21 laps to go. This is his race to lose. Again, a guy, I think I mentioned this, messaged me. I didn't even ask him. Messages me telling me to trust that he is going to win this weekend's race, and that was Wednesday afternoon. The confidence splooging out as he is our leader with a 22-second lead.
Yeah, he's definitely a confident driver, but he has talent and skill to back it up, no question about it. He's fast everywhere we've gone so far.
Absolutely, absolutely. Again, when Drummond crosses that finish line, it'll be 20 laps to go for the Coors Banquet 100. Again, next week is going to be the Boot Barn 250 at Legacy, Texas. And then we open up the chase for the Gears Cup Series at Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Old Smoky Moonshine 250. I knew why I picked up this whiskey tonight at Atlanta.
Brandon Meyer with some struggles in turn 3 just a moment ago. He was struggling to get that thing turned back going, but no harm done.
Mike, for the fans and drivers that aren't racing here with us or are sitting here at home, kind of give us a little explanation of how tough this track actually is and what a challenge it presents for our drivers.
Well, it's a really difficult track that, again, if you overdrive these corners, you're kind of along for the ride. And once you get off track, you can't really do anything. You're into the tire barriers the next thing you know. But, I mean, one of the biggest ways to avoid that is just knowing what gear you're supposed to be in as you're approaching these corners and where you're supposed to be braking as far as the braking points. So You try to really arc the car into these corners, just kind of like F1, as we see Lucas Reed off track out there.
Yeah.
Just there's not a lot of grip, especially as you put the throttle down, or you try to put the throttle down. With the ascension and the descension of some of these turns in the early part of this track, uphill and downhill, it's just really hard to get your arms around it.
We were watching Brandon Meyer as you were talking. He had messed up a little bit, and he is done for the night.
Yeah, he's had a few issues.
It happens. I mean, this track, like you said, it is incredibly tough to tame. And the people that have tamed it, you can see, are it's like what Randy Savage says, cream eventually rises to the top, and that's what you're seeing here tonight. Did you see Matt Albert taking the back road as Elliott Drummond goes to pass him?
Yeah, his cream is definitely not rising to the top, unfortunately.
Definitely what we call the spam bottom feeders. I'm just kidding. I'm inebriated. Let's move on. Elliott Drummond, John Cutlip, Tyler Curley, Connor Rowe, and Matthew Weeks, your top 5, with Jeremy Beal, Cody Johnson, Brandon Smith, Drew Webb, and Lucas Reed, rounding out your top 10. Again, the race that you want to watch out for is between Keaton Sawyers and Aiden Lunn. Looks like Lunn is just going into the pits now. We'll see how that plays. That's a bold strategy, Cotton. Hopefully that pays off for him. Looks like Sayers. I don't know. What did Austin say it was last week?
It's
Sailors. Sailors. He said sailors, and that was hilarious. I love that. And
I honestly don't know the right pronunciation. I don't really care.
It is Sawyers, but I call it Sawyers. He thinks I say Sawyers. That's not what I say. You just can't hear the L.
I think it's Salyers. I don't know, though.
Who the hell cares?
Yeah.
I'm not putting an S on his name or, a Z or, whatever.
That's your defending champion, Keaton Salyers.
Keaton, whatever his last name is, your 2022 champion last year. But
again, it's Keaton Salyers.
Yeah, and on a more
really looking at that battle.
On a more serious note, with these new drivers that have come, hopefully retention, they stay here till 2024. There's a lot of names that next year you're going to see from start to finish. That's going to change the way that we look at the Gears Cup Series. I'm excited for that. Definitely for these drivers that have been up top near most of the time in the Gears Cup Series. That is definitely going to change when it comes to next season.
Yeah, and a great segue. I mean, if you're on iRacing, you like driving, especially these next-gen cars, you're looking for a league to join. We still have about 11 races left every Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. If you're looking to join a league, I mean, this is some of the best drivers out here racing, and it's a good time. Not too competitive. It's fun. There are some fast guys, obviously, but it's fun. It's a nice, authentic experience to be out here with a full field of 30 to 40 cars every week, wherever we go.
Yeah, it's been a fun season so far. There's been some trying times, especially early on. But the growth of this league, as Elliott Drummond was in the pit when you were talking, John Cutler has taken over the lead. These new drivers have definitely brought a different taste, personalities into this league, some new blood, new rivalries, which is always exciting. My favorite rivalry this season has between Perrin Huggins and Nathan Fuller. Those two guys, I think Perrin Huggins starting parked here tonight. Fuller couldn't make it as he's having a great time, whatever he's doing on vacation. But the way those two bicker back and forth creates good banter and definitely good broadcasting. I can't deny that.
Yeah, definitely lacking the fireworks that we otherwise would have got just a few weeks ago for Independence Day with these two cars not on track tonight. But, there was a little bit of a penalty that was issued to the 8 car over the, between the last week and this week. Just for, aggressive driving. It is fun to still, especially in your spot, watch these races when you have that aggression and they have that rivalry going on with two drivers like that.
Yeah, it's definitely, it makes my job a lot easier to describe what's going on when action like that is happening. John Cutlip, Elliott Drummond, Tyler Curley, Connor Rowe, Matthew Weeks, your top 5 right now Looks like Curley has entered pit road. Drummond about less than 10 seconds back from Cutlip and closing. And the rest of the field is a lap down. So everybody but third place, 1, 2, and 3 are all in the lead lap. Everybody else is a lap down or more. Again, this track claiming a lot of drivers and their time. Looks like Cutlip now going in has claimed a lot of drivers' patience for the evening. They've topped out.
Yeah, and patience on pit road, as you see, past that commitment cone. There is no speed limit until you get to that commitment cone on pit road. So he's trying to get everything he can as he gets in there. So he's got to be very careful that he doesn't speed.
Yeah, this is paramount. Elliott Drummond driving by, going with 14 laps to go. Or, excuse me, 15 laps to go until this one's in the books. Me and C-Law talking in the chat. Don't know if you see this, Mike. Asking about why you can't see some of these paint schemes in iRacing, and that's because I'm a cheap ass and don't have Trading Paints Pro. I think that's the conclusion we've turned to.
61 round.
Okay.
Still in the gravel here. Rough night for the 61 car, but he's fighting. He's battling to put together the remaining laps here.
Finishing is the most important thing, and let's call back to this battle for the bubble spot. Aiden Lunn again in pit road. I think he might be done. No, he has not tapped out yet. But it looks like Keaton's going to have 11th place sewn up if Aiden Lunn does not get back to racing. Looks like he's a couple laps down further than what Keaton is. So Keaton in good shape here tonight. Again, points. Every point is going to be an important one for him to make the playoffs.
Yeah, it's a good sign to see Sawyer's still running. You know, again, one mistake and you get into the tire barriers, your night's pretty much done.
Yeah,
you got to tow.
And if anybody tuned into practice last week on Wednesday, a lot of people are having a tough time. Even Keaton, it's a hard track to tame, and if you can, God, more power to you, man, for real.
Lucas Reed around in the gravel in 3 and 4, getting back around. He's been around quite a few times every time I look at him, to be honest with you.
$14 laps to go. Elliott Drummond, John Cutlip, Tyler Curley, Connor Rowe, Matthew Weeks, your top 5. Jeremy Peel, Cody Johnson, Brandon Smith, Drew Webb, and Keaton Sawyers rounding out your top 10. Cutlip goes the inside of Sawyers and gets through cleanly. Drummond, again, a 20-second lead on the group. Again, these next 2 weeks are going to be awesome. I cannot wait for next week and the regular season finale. So much on the line for that final bubble spot. I know it's only a few drivers, but it's going to give us a race within the race, obviously. Mike, you basically have the regular season sewn up. Congratulations on a great season. Going into the playoffs, you definitely are one of the favorites. But again, 2024, enjoy it while it lasts here in 2023, because 2024 is going to be a different story.
Yeah, it really is. Fortunately, I was able to do my work early, as Gears was not as popular as it is now earlier in the season. So I was able to get a win and ultimately a lot of good finishes inside the top 10. So that's definitely not the case anymore. A lot of competition. That's going to kind of make the chase really interesting this year, even before 2024, because you're going to have a mixed bag of strategy every single race, because some drivers are going to be fighting for points, obviously, that make the chase, but you're going to have all these new guys that are not in the points battle, that are not in the chase, that are strictly here to win. And we do stages, which means there's going to be a lot of strategy where these guys that just are going to win are not going to, run these races for stage points, which is going to make the final stage in these races, you're going to have these chase drivers that are probably going to be behind those guys that are putting themselves in position for that stage only.
Yeah.
And the guys are going to have to really fight for positions for the points.
Gotta show you some love here, Mike. C-Law says, congratulations, Mike. Looks like we were talking about Trading Paints Pro. J. Cole says if I hit for another 140, I'll get it for you. Told me he didn't have to do it. I just wish there wasn't have to be a sub for it. But he says we're sharing the love. And J. Cole says I'm here to burn rubber and kick Mike's ass only.
And the joke there is J. Cole and I, especially on Heat 5, run together, find each other in every single track, in every race, battle each other. It seems like we don't even mean to do it. It's just a matter of we have similar pace and we find each other throughout the race, and we're racing together a lot. As Gatlin Downey turns the car in turn 3.
Looks like he's back straight. Yeah, it looks like he's all right. It happens. I mean, looks like Aiden Lund's out on the track now, battling in 12th and battling Lucas Reed, who's right in front of him. We'll pay attention to this race for 12th or 11th here at the moment. Go ahead and continue. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take your thought there.
Oh, you're fine. But I appreciate racing with Jake. It's fun to race with him, and sometimes there's just some of those guys that you can't get away from.
Jake Cole says, I've only had iRacing for 4 months, and somehow I still find him. I think that's just natural talent, and I want to say to people out there who are racing and who are watching the stream tonight, if you have even a hint of talent and you are good at iRacing, don't be a cockbag to other people. Like, I've seen that a bunch lately where people who they're really good at iRacing, they have a hint of talent, and they think they can tell other people how to drive. Just do your job. Come in and dominate, have some fun, kick some ass, and go on about your business. I don't know where I was going with that. I think I just had a soapbox stand on for a split second there, Mike, but a lot of guys with a lot of talent do seem to have egos on here with an I rating of 2,000. Like, if you're not in the 5,000s, don't talk to us about racing.
Yeah, and even I rating is sometimes not a great barometer on talent because, you can have all the I rating in the world, but you might not be good at road courses, for example.
Well, I think, or you have a high I rating, but it's only because you only do certain speedways or a certain, list of tracks that you do. That's why you're so high up on the board.
Right. Or maybe you put together that I rating a long time ago and you haven't picked up iRacing in months. That's also.
And then you're freaking ass, and then you drop right back down to earth. But
yeah,
Josh says he only sniffs the 2000s. Hey, I have an I rating of over 1,700, and for me, I think that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, and honestly, me personally, I enjoy league racing more than officials. Obviously you have to do officials to get to the license that you want ultimately. And once I got to A, I kind of was like, okay, well, I don't really want to do officials so much as I want to do league racing, because league racing to me is the most fun on iRacing because you can get into a league, run with the same guys, get comfortable with racing them, and have really good, obviously, battles and racing that you can really be competitive with, because you want to beat these guys that and that you build relationships with. And I think it's more fun to do that than just hop into officials and beat these strangers. You know what I mean?
I mean, unless if it's like a NASCAR, somebody that's been through the NASCAR ranks or something like that. Like, I know there's one-offs sometimes, and I know you've driven with maybe a couple of drivers. I personally have driven with Elliott Sadler once for a race. That was definitely cool because the NASCAR community is a little bit smaller, so there's a little bit higher chance of maybe finding, Rajay Caruth, a couple other drivers. Yep. Raja, I'm sorry, I always pronounce his name wrong, and it's not on purpose, just I suck. But there's drivers out there. Jeremy Mayfield's on here. Just a bunch of drivers, just to name a few that we've seen on this server. So there is pros and cons, especially you're riding those, you're racing those officials. That sucks. Like, if you don't do well, you pay for it extremely. But I agree with the sentiment of league racing. You get to know the people you drive around, and in turn makes you a better driver. Just having that awareness in general. 8 laps to go. Elliott Drummond is your leader. John Cutlip in second. Tyler Curley in third. The only 3 on the lead lap at this moment. Connor Rowe and Matthew Weeks rounding out your top 5. Cody Johnson, Jeremy Beal, Drew Webb, Brandon Smith, and Keaton Sawyers rounding out your top 10. Selah writes, go ahead, Mike.
I'm sorry. I think the 29 needs a pillow and a cover up there.
Yeah, I mean, he could definitely go to sleep. He could go get a sandwich and come back and still win this race with 22 seconds of a lead. Again, exaggerating as I usually do. But Drummond, I guess it just goes to show how much, he's got it in the bag. Before I get any further, Selah writes, in a few races and I fit could wreck your IR. Yeah, that is my case with New Atlanta. I love that track. I love everything about it except the people that race on it. And it looks like Drummond, you said it yourself, Lawrence, Drummond is close to lapping Curley as he's going to put a lap on Aiden Lunn. Let's see where Curley is. Yeah, he's just crossing the start-finish line. Elliott Drummond crosses the start-finish line now. So it's about a 5 or 6 second difference. This will be interesting to see. Let's follow along with Curley here, and actually let's do a blimp cam to see how far away he is from getting lapped. With 7 to go, let's do one more quick loose and loud segments. One of my favorite things to do here. I'm going to do that one more time for y'all.
Yellow flag is out.
Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Looks like a caution was called. We do believe it might be an iRacing error. We're checking into that right now to see what happened. But this race might just go official here. We'll see. Trying to get word from the tower to see what we're going to do here. Looks like it might have been an iRacing glitch. We're trying to find out what happened here. Looks like incidentally caution was called, which may make this race official. We'll see here. Again, clearly I believe that we know, Elliott Drummond was out to such a big lead. And we will see what the decision is here in just a moment. Please hang on with us. Again, we may call this race. We'll see here in a minute. We are trying to investigate what exactly happened. All right, so word from the tower is that tonight, Elliott Drummond is going to be declared your winner. They are going to go back, quote-unquote, green flag racing here. But because it was a glitch, we're going to pace the last lap out here. Elliott Drummond is going to be your winner with Jonathan Cutlip in second, Tyler Curley in third, Connor Rowe in fourth, Matthew Weeks in 5th. Cody Johnson is 6th. Jeremy Beal in 7th. Drew Webb in 8th. Brandon Smith in 9th. And Keaton Sawyers rounding out your top 10. Again, a glitch. We do believe, again, we'll have to run this back and investigate this a little bit further. But it looks like something happened, or maybe an admin wheel had disconnected, calling that caution out. We're not sure. Again, we're going to dig this up after the recruitment race and find out exactly what happened. So again, our apologies. Looks like this race is over, but we'll get you some driver interviews and get you in for the finality of the post-race show. Again, Elliott Drummond looks like he is going to be your Coors Banquet 100 winner, and he'll get to celebrate that when he comes back around, getting his first win of the series and calling out his shot as of Wednesday afternoon. I have the DM to prove it. He will get his first win of the year coming at Sonoma, California, Sonoma Raceway for the Coors Banquet 100.
It's going to be a race ending under caution.
Yeah, it is going to be, Mike. You know, I was just telling the folks at home, due to a glitch or something that happened on our side here, admin team-wise, it looks like the caution was called. We're calling the race for Elliott Drummond.
Yeah, and I mean, nothing was going to stop Elliott from winning this race. Not even a caution at the end of the race that was accidentally called.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, really good race. Pretty clean. And really impressed with everyone hanging in there.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get a couple drivers here for the interview here tonight if they're available. Mike, if you don't mind hanging out with us, maybe you can do the interview tonight. We'll see how that works out. But yeah, glad. Yeah, then I'm going to have you interview him because I don't think I'm good for questions right now. So Elliott Drummond, your winner of the Coors Banquet 100. Again, I'll put his name up there to the left of your screen there in the tower. That is how it's going to shape out for your final standings. Keaton Sawyers edges out Aiden Lunn for that top 10 position, and that's going to be critical as far as points are concerned. It's going to tighten the gap a little bit. We'll see what comes up next week for the final race. Again, the regular season finale is next week at Legacy, Texas for the Boot Barn 250, only here on Casa de la Horseboats channel. We're going to let these guys get around, do a little bit of celebrating. I'm going to mute my mic and mute the Discord as well as we'll get ready for post-race interviews. Again, Elliott Drummond, your winner of the Coors Banquet 100 for the Gears Cup Series. All right, thank you everyone for joining us for the Gears Cup Series post-race show for the Coors Banquet 100 at Sonoma Raceway in Sonoma, California. Here tonight, we have our podium finishers, starting off with Tyler Curry. Mike, lead the way, my man.
And you had a good race. I mean, what do you think you needed to be able to race the 28 and the 29 tonight?
Well, I kind of made a bad call on the second pit stop taking tires. I was thinking, fresh tires might be a little bit better here because how hot the track is, how old it is, and how abrasive it could be. So I took tires thinking that maybe we could have something for the 28 or maybe hold them off, but a few mistakes on my outlap kind of cost me all that ground, and then come to figure out that fresh tires aren't that good. But in all honesty, what I probably needed was a little more talent. I mean, those guys were rocket ships. Elliott definitely deserved the win. They definitely deserved to finish top two. I mean, it's a good run for me after Pocono. So 19th to third in the first lap and stayed there the entire race. So it was pretty fun.
Yeah, you were our biggest mover of the night for sure. 16 spots.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. What do you think was the biggest challenge out there as you raced, especially in traffic?
I mean, sometimes it was traffic. A lot of the guys got out of the way. There was one time where I got to the 13. He just like stopped and like I destroyed him on accident. But I mean, besides that, I think the biggest challenge was just kind of just like the beginning portion of the race, holding off like the 5 and the 28 when they were charging up behind me. But I mean, that kind of settled out really quick once the first stage ended. So there really weren't any challenges. It was just consistency. So and I was able to keep it going.
Yeah, not a whole lot of opportunity to get back up there because of how it went green the whole way. But good finish, man. Thanks for being here and thanks for putting on a good show.
Thank you.
All right, John, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good. Yeah, you mentioned you had gotten into the 53 at some point in this race, but it looked like you had a good amount of speed, maybe even kind of matching the lap times of Elliott this race. But I mean, is there anything you would do it differently, or anything that you think you could have done better?
Obviously the turn 3 incident, that was huge. That put us back quite a distance as far as track position, but no, Elliott was doing really well. We were pretty close for lap times for most of the part. He would, pull a little bit, then I would back up, and I'm not sure if that's traffic related or not, but it was fun just being able to, race through most of the field. Everyone was really respectful as far as giving room.
Yeah, you and Connor Rowe, the 5 car, looks like you guys were having a good battle for like the first stage or so. So it was cool to see. That was kind of like one of the few battles on track because everyone kind of got strung out. But you looking forward to Legacy Texas next week? Any expectations with that one?
I'm trying to think. I ran Texas before. That was a pretty fun race, but it was a different setup. So I'm kind of curious to see how things play out for next week. It should be a good race, though.
Yeah, kind of the first mile and a half in quite a while, especially with a full field like this. Well, good second place finish. We'll look forward to seeing you at Texas.
Thank you.
Elliott Drummond, my man. What's on your mind?
Yay. And relief, because that yellow kind of just made my heart stopped when that yellow came. I was like, what is the yellow for?
I was gonna ask what kind of went through your mind as you saw that accidental caution.
I was like, lap 50. I was thinking I'm on lap 52, 55, just bring it home, and then just the word pacing popped up. I'm like, what is the caution for? We haven't thrown a caution all night, and then that, and I was just like, dumbfounded to figure out. I thought we were gonna go back green and race. I was like, for an accidental caution, but I think we made the right call. It wouldn't have been right to just.
Yeah.
I got to butt in here, Mike, just for a second.
Yeah, fortunately, we were at the end of the race where nothing was really going to change, it seemed like. So it was kind of the best time for the caution to accidentally come out. But, I mean, congrats on the win. This was long overdue. It seems to be long overdue. It's only been a few weeks. And go ahead.
I got to butt in for just a second. Now, I've told the folks at home, I don't know if you had the stream up, Elliott, or not. But I told everybody, you messaged me before practice on Wednesday saying to trust me, that you were going to win this week and that it was in the bag. How did you know that is this a track that you're just a god at, or is this just a confidence?
It's road courses. I mean, I haven't seen the schedule, but I know y'all ran Watkins Glen.
Yeah.
I'm lights out at Watkins Glen. I'm really lights out at the Roval. A lot of the time I'm there. Only people I've lost to at those tracks have been like Parker White and like Bobby Zielinski. So.
Wow. I mean, honestly, man, I am rooting for you in 2024 because I know you can't make the chase here to win the championship, but you're going to probably be my early pick in 2024, man. You kick so much ass. Keep coming back. Is there anybody else that you'd like to give a shout out to? You finally got your win, the one that you told me you were going to get. This is your floor, man. Take it. Thank anybody you want right now.
I like to thank my power. My power went out last week mid-race. So I'm kind of glad it stayed on during this one because, I mean, I was, like, I guess lights out. I mean, I don't want to be that guy, but yeah, it sucks I can't make the chase. It would have been cool to have a shot. And I know we're going in Gen 4s next year. Gen 4 is not my best car. Next gen's probably.
Well, it said that has not been official. It is unofficial. We're still working on that, so don't bank on it.
I just got early word that it was I can't think of it, Gen 4 car. So
no, I totally get it. That is unofficial. That is something that we've been having talks about, but I don't think has been official or anything that we move forward yet. So we could very well be back here next year with these same next gen Cup cars. I honestly was excited to see you tonight. When you got on the track and you put up your qualifying time, I knew you were for real. I knew you were for real in practice, but that did translate. I think the only person that actually had a chance of catching you tonight was John Cutlip, and that says a lot. So you guys, from you to John Cutlip to Curly, and we have Connor Rowan here. We'll get in here in just a second. You four guys really showed us what road racing was, and you've really put the Gears Cup Series on notice for 2024. So definitely glad to have you all. We'll jump here to Connor. Elliott, thank you for joining us. Connor, you finished fourth. Good top five. Good run for you. Give us kind of a brief breakdown on your evening here tonight, Connor.
Yeah, definitely. This is one of those tracks you gotta race your track and not the drivers. This is a track where you beat yourself up. So I mean,
yeah.
I knew going into it, looking at those top 3 lap times and qualifying times, that really I was racing myself here because those guys they were lights out, like you guys have been saying. So really, I just told myself, just take it easy, get some distance. When those guys wrecked going into, I think, turn 2 on the first lap, thought that was a good chance, had a few good battles. Can't quite remember their names, but had a few good battles. And then after a while, I was like, hey, these guys are faster. I don't want to make any mistakes and ruin anyone's race. Let them by, But overall, good race. Enjoyed it a lot. Thought the etiquette was very good. And, yeah, I had a really good time in this one.
Connor, we love having you in this league. I hope you keep coming back. You're going to be a force to be reckoned with if we see you here in 2024. Again, can't say it enough. Road course racers have come out tonight and have really put on a good show. You were a part of that. Again, when you got a guy like Elliott Drummond who drives as quick as he does around this track, it's hard to keep up with. So for you guys to put up a fight and keep up, it says a lot. And congratulations, man. Top 5, you can't complain about that here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I was looking forward to it. It's only my second race in. The way my schedule works, it's a little harder to get every Friday, but I definitely enjoy coming to this league, and it's a lot of fun. I like the competition. I like trying to push to get better and racing with guys that are better than myself, so it's a lot of fun.
Hey, I'm glad it presents a challenge to you. Since we got you here and it's your first time here in our booth, is there anybody you'd like to give a shout-out or a thank you to?
No, just the admins for putting on such a good league. I mean, this league is fantastic. I'm glad I found it. Brandon, I'm not sure if you guys know him. I'm not sure if he's actually gotten into the league yet. I know he talked about it. He used to run a NASCAR Heat 5 league, and that's kind of how I got into this league, through him. So definitely shout out for him for letting me know about the league. And, yeah, that's awesome.
Right on, man. Well, you are going to be the person who concludes it here for tonight. For us here at Sonoma Raceway in Sonoma, California, for the Coors Banquet 100. Again, next week, regular season finale, the Boot Barn 250 at Legacy, Texas, qualifying at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. I am Tom Torrey, and for the Gears Cup Series and myself, have a great weekend, and thank you for watching live here on Casa de la Horseboat.